Oh gosh. Oh, there you go. Hi everyone. It is Ros Boundy here, and I'm trying to suss out whether I've got the right date on the actual little picture that was there. I'm just going to go back to it. Oh goodness. We are on the 17th of November. It is Sunday, so I probably am going to need to edit that back out. Oh goodness, sometimes we just can't get it right, hey? There you go. I've got back from a day out of doing a psychic expo and wellness fair. SA Psychic and Wellness Expo. That's the proper title of where I've been. And I've got back fairly recently and needed to sort of get a bit organised and rest after that before I came live tonight. So I'm still actually checking that I'm here correctly in the right place and space. I have this going to my Boomer Press Facebook page and my Ros Boundy, not the Boomer Press, the Ros Boundy Facebook page and the 5 Foot Rope TV page, because that's where it's going to. And I'm trying to check on my phone. I can see I'm going live. Whoopsie, there we go, that way. I can see it, but I actually can't hear it at the moment. So I haven't got it up loud enough. Yes, I can hear it, so that's good. At least I know that's there. I can take that off the screen now and leave that aside. I'm here because of my Boomer Press business. So that's what wrong side. But that's what my website is. It is boomerpress.online, and it has quite a few pages on that, as in the tabs, the whatever you look at it for. Depends on the device, doesn't it? So what we end up starting with on a mobile device, I dare say, is just the narrow, you're scrolling up. I hardly ever use a mobile phone to look at websites. So it's more than likely you are going to need to tell me what sort of look it is, because I actually haven't checked all the aspects of it, because I just prefer to work on a computer. I like the bigger screen, so that's how I use them. And that's how it's more set up, optimized for that. But you can still certainly see all the information from the website on any of the devices. Now, the one I want to point out to you most, hi Nat, lovely to see you here. And I didn't realise that was quite so big. I'm just going to shrink that down a little bit because it's very dominant, isn't it? I was messing with it to just get a few things tweaked the other day, but I wasn't able to do it absolutely completely in that finessing, but hey, that's what it is. Now, where did I get up to? It was to do with what it shows up like and the size of it. Now, I was going to do a screen share, but now I can't find what I've done with the screen. There it is. I'm on it. So here we are. Let me go to the home page, and then I'll just do a quick screen share, because some of you may or may not have seen what is the website, because I do want to bring some of that show and tell type of thing to this session that is a Sunday evening. Not every time, but it's good to remind people who have been and seen it before, or to introduce it to those who haven't. So hi Caro, lovely to see you here. And this is the session that I'm starting as a weekly basis. I just wanted to put that back on to check the size, and that's about right. It's more for that is it's the Boomer Press. It's not for the psychic mediumship side of what I do. This is specifically for Boomer Press, and the logo that my team member Michelle has created with me. I like it, and I'll show you what the website looks like. I've just got to figure out where is my screen share. So one thing with, here we go. Now you are going to get my voice in the background of this one because I haven't figured out how to do the, I think I can do this, but I have, no, look, it's a different screen. We'll go with it like this. What you can do is see the website. So as I'm scrolling this, you'll see where it's showing up the different aspects of the different pages. You know, like each of these, you know, the home and the author's hub, when I do that, you're switching between what are the tabs or the pages of what is a website. So there we go with that one, and then there's the courses, and then there's the memoirs page, and then there's the, I'm waiting for each of them to flip through, and then there's the services, and I'm trusting that my screen is doing exactly the thing it should do, and then there is the contact us. So that's the tabs or pages that are part of a website. Now, for some people these days, it's not always good to assume that everyone has actually seen a website. And I like the fact I can go waving down the bottom here on the screen. It just feels a bit weird. I'm going to just try to see if this will extend past like that, so you can't see me at the bottom. I've got no idea how well this is doing, that aspect. But I think I can, no, I can't. Look, it does go too far off the page, doesn't it? But anyway, go and explore for yourself through the website. Now, what is it about us as a team is that what we are aiming to do is to be able to tailor for you your pathway of how to write, or you know, the processes, the steps. And this is, well, it's obviously a picture shot of me, and Michelle does the marketing and branding, and Steph is the customer service and being able to help further, you know, with further details and organising bits and pieces. So for this, it does of course feature my two books that I've written, Pieces With You and Peace Beyond, and then goes into explaining why you might need what we actually offer as far as the services. It is all tailor done, so that what we do need you to do is to come and click on this, book your free consultation. It's a 15-minute, 20-minute session, and we go through how it works, setting up the chat, map out the plan, and you see the results. And that's what that actually is meant to mean, you see the results. And certainly you can always go to that part that, if I go to it, the contact us screen, and go into more detail about what you might want to delve into, and give me a little more information in this messaging part here. So you just fill out your name and the email. They are required so I can get back to you, and as much detail as you want in filling in these messages. Of course, send it, and there is some frequently asked questions that might be helpful. So that effectively is the website, and I just wanted you to become familiar with what it looked like more than anything else, and to have that link for what is the contact, what is it, the sorry, I've just got to go over and grab that link again for the free consultation. I did have it here before, sorry, it's just slipping past. So just clicking on that link, now of course it's not going to do it. Let's go grab that link, and I can put that in the chat here for those who might be interested in connecting directly through having that free consultation. Okay, So that's there now on. It does show up as 5 foot rope doing it, because as far as doing this live stream, I have to be 5 foot rope to TV to get it there. Okay, it's part of the process. You'll know it's me. Well, I hope you know it's me. There you go. So, the other thing that I wanted to work through, it almost sounds like it's a chore, doesn't it? It's not. I'm having a great deal of fun doing the writing that I do. And one of the things that we've been going through with bits and pieces to make it easier for you to write, to get started, is using some cards. Now, I'm just going to go over to the table. I'm needing to find out which screen I'm on. Hopefully this is right. No, not wrong. Wrong. Whoops, sorry. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. Adding in that, there it is. So, I've got this showing the webcam that I usually use as far as my readings go in the mornings. But what we have been doing, and I was going to show this one later on, so hold on a sec. What we've been doing so far is using this life story kit, and it is sort of an interview kit for yourself, and this is more with the emphasis being on writing memoir, that type of story. But for just plain outright practicing to write, if you've just got even an inkling of wanting to write and doing something that is for yourself first, and you just sort of feeling a bit stuck on what or how you want to do things, this is a great little, well, it is. It's a tool for capturing their memories, and this is more for doing interviews and that with those who are your loved ones. And I noticed when I went to put this away last time, see how it's got that's there in the inside of the box. In the end, we'll all become stories. It is that reminder that, you know, in 100 years' time, who will remember us? And that's why I want to do this, as far as creating these stories to pass on to our, you know, the rest of our family that are the future generations. That's going off the screen, isn't it? Let's see if we can do it this way. So it's got the 3 categories. This is how I've been doing it. We're taking one from the early life, we're taking one from the midlife, and we're taking one from the later life and reflection. Is that showing up properly? I've got slight shadow. Oh, it was my hand being the shadow. So there you go. Fancy that, having your hand as a shadow. These are the ones we've already gone through, so you might need to go over the previous sessions we've had, which has been last week on Thursday. Actually, I can't remember. I think I'm on episode 4 of this. No, 3. I'm doing 2 during the week, and this one on the weekend on Sunday. So the 2 during the week are Monday and Thursday at 5:30 Adelaide time, Adelaide Central Daylight time, and this one on Sunday is the 7:30 p.m. And that this is more going to be about the storytelling and that type of thing. It'll be broader because it's going to be for an hour. The other ones are half hours because they're just weekdays and just more as a prompt, and hence why I started this, to bring in a short style, quick and easy, to get the writing juices going, to get the thought processes happening, to bring different aspects of questioning to mind. And Caro, you started a journal when Adam passed away. You thought you would like to write a book on grief and how to approach and help a grieving mother. And that's a really wonderful purpose for what you can develop and grow from what your journaling was allowing you to move through. So it's a great reason, like a memoir. I mean, a memoir is the type of book that you can create that's themed and bring forward something that could be helpful to others. I think a lot of the times we get the confusion of what a memoir and an autobiography or even a biography. The biography is more for someone that's notorious, famous, in the limelight type, that people really know a lot about already, but it goes into detail about someone else's life. Autobiography is the one that you're writing about your own life and tends to be a little bit more chronological, historical. Not all of them are, of course, but that's what they tend to be. Memoir is life experience put into a way of storytelling that helps and creates something that's beneficial to others as well, because there is a theme to it. There tends to be a little bit more purpose to it. Perfect for what you would see to be what your book might be moving toward as well. Approach and help a grieving mother, Carolyn. Wonderful reason to actually move forward on it and create that book for others. Great idea. Because we never stop grieving. In one way or another, we do have that as part of our life, but it's also bringing forward what are those wonderful memories as well, isn't it? You have more experience of that than I would as far as a child goes. There's other areas of grief that moves into as well for partners, parents, all sorts of ways. I'm also thinking, it does bring to mind a few instances for myself. Now, what we're going to move through with these, I'm just going to take the top card of each of these. I'm not going to shuffle them anymore. They'll be in the order that they are for us to be able to take some questions to mind and putting it in that context. Yeah, you're acknowledging that. Thanks, Carolyn. Yeah, good one, Cara. What did you learn from your mother? Now, this has... Oh, no, it's one that... It's all right. I remember reading it before, and it's because I have shuffled these beforehand, because coming new out of the box when I did it the other day, first up, they were actually sort of a bit stuck together. So I do remember this one, because what did you learn from your mother is a great way to really take you back to those early years. Because when do we start to learn? How far back how far back do your own memories go of what you actually remember from that is in your own mind's eye of your own experience, rather than being what you've been told that you should remember because of the way that we interact as adults about what our memories might have been. And sometimes that can get lost in the trying to remember what we remember, if you understand what I mean. None of it is wrong, but what I feel that we probably are needing to do with any of these is, with this, put down what you do remember in whatever way that comes out, as far as whether it's a brain dump, whether it's just writing madly as you remember those bits and pieces, because wherever you are in your life right now, the more aged yeah, that sounds awful, but I'm aged. I'm getting there. There's a heck of a lot to remember about what did you learn from your mother. Okay, but it's also at that certain point in time where we move on from what we learn from our mother and take our own experiences as being that learning, because we've moved away from the direct influence of our mothers. But do we really move away from what we learn from our mothers? Okay, so that's from the early life. How long an influence do our mothers really have? How long an influence do we have as being a mother as well? Do we expect to continue to have that same level of influence right throughout our children's lives as well? So many different ways and aspects that you can write down about your thoughts on learning from mothers, whether it's your own or someone else's as well. So interesting thoughts there. So write them down. How much of your book are you already, or your notebook, are you already starting to fill by just using this process of these 3 cards? We're going to move through them in a way that will take us through some interesting pathways, I'm sure, in how we're remembering, in what we remember. And at a point we're going to have to start, well, don't have to, but it'll be fun to put it together in a way that's going to be meaningful, so that it is giving a fluency to our story rather than just those brain dump type comments and writings that we're going to put down right now. And there's none of it that's going to be wrong. It's the way that we're going to collate sometime later, because it will take a bit of time to get through this, in a way that we can put it together and start to create that is a story. So now that we've done that early life one, move on to what is our midlife. Midlife is, for most of us, will be quite a lot easier to remember because it's more recent. As adults watching this, I'm presuming that most of you here are adults of probably not similar age, but close to it. Considering and wondering about writing your story as far as a memoir goes, because at the moment that's more what I'm concentrating on, because I do understand that time keeps moving on and I don't want it to be too late before it is too late. Get the stories down now. And not that there is a fear of dementia or Alzheimer's or anything at all for myself. It's just that sometimes you just never know when it's the shift in what might be a different way of living your life. Okay? So what we're going to look at for our midlife, now that we've got it closer to the current memory span, is did you change jobs a lot in your midlife? Can you describe each job you had? Okay. Is anyone game enough to put down how many jobs you had up until, from when you first had paid employment to what you're currently experiencing now with your job? How many have you actually had? My memory, I had a couple of younger years. In the teenage years, there would have been 2 paid jobs, both casual and very short term, because I was at school. And from then, I hadn't actually worked officially in any job until paid by someone else. Gee, when was that? I've got to try and think back when that actually was, because I didn't have an official paid job for someone else, because what my experience has been through building and growing our own organic fertilizer, as in sheep and cow poop, that we packaged and bagged up and sold in Adelaide. So it was organic manures and potting soils, then it moved into earth moving, then it moved into rock crushing. So it was that steady, slow, well, at one point it was a bit of a fast growth, but it was that steady growth of a business that we built from the ground up. So my husband and I, that's how we earned our income. So I wasn't actually officially paid in that until many years later, when I went through what was a divorce that moved into self-employment for myself, and then a bit of a part-time job again doing bookkeeping. So that's how mine has progressed. So I've probably only had about 4 part-time work situations in my life. And Caroline, you've owned 2 small businesses, from a publican to a cafe. Yeah. So you've had similar experiences as far as business management and ownership. So quite different, isn't it? So bit different to the question that's been asked, but at least it takes us down the path of thinking and remembering and being able to write down what our experiences have been in the jobs. How many did we have? Well, yeah. For me, those part-time jobs have been more in the admin and bookkeeping roles, because that's the side of what our business was. I did the office management and the bookkeeping, and converting it from handwritten invoices and hand-done statements to computerising it all in 1982 or 3. Typing in the programs for what was Micro B was the name of the computer back then. Being able to upload eventually from those little from the 5¼ inch floppy disk to the little 3½ inch, still a floppy disk but more solid in its encasement, and then into what was an upgraded PC, CPM machine or whatever. It started with DOS operating system, then it went to CPM, then it went to Windows, and the growth of the process of that. But that was my work, was office stuff. I loved it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it over the years. I did further study, was able to get a Cert 4 in doing the bookkeeping, accounting, the progression that we have. This is the type of thing that you can describe as well, as far as what your journey has been doing. I just noticed your comment there, Carolyn. Cara, yeah, now you're showing your age, Roz. Yep, I am showing my age, and I'm quite happy to say that I'm 65 now. So I did start with computers as the desktop came out. Those personal computers, many went the Commodore 64 way, others went the IBM sort of compatibility way, which is what I did. So, the two different camps. And now my own system that I use is back to that, what started as Commodore into Apples and whatnot, into the Apple branding and the rest. I'm on a Mac. So there you go. Yes, it does show my age, but hey, I'm proud of it. And later in life and reflection, this is where I'm at most of the time, is that reflection. So how do you hope people will remember you? And this is a perfect question for why I started doing all of this, is because I'd sit with my dad as he was writing a couple of histories for the local area around Meningie, and for the Agricultural Bureau at the time around the local area of the Upper South East and Meningie. And, I'd help him with the transcription of what he was writing by hand. I'd be typing it into the word processor and helping him manage how to do the organisation of the chapters and some of the grammatical. So he was pretty darn good with his English. And really wording what he wanted to say in a way that others could understand it as well. So that got me to thinking, when I ended up with his diaries, to be able to actually put it into a process of looking back at what his life was through how he's written up his diaries, how that transposed for myself to really feel into the person of John Boundy Sr., or his full name and the rest, and how the description of how he wrote, how I understood him as a daughter, and what he himself wrote for the John and Pat story that he wrote, that are part of what they wanted us to remember of them. So I want, how do you hope people will remember you? I want it more to be how I want my children to understand me as a person, compared to just being mum. So there's purpose and meaning and reason behind wanting to be remembered, and in a certain way. So that's pretty much a really good question to get you to feel into how do you want to leave your legacy, and the why I have gone into creating Boomer Press. As you know, I am part of that baby boomer era, and it is coming into that time of, a lot of us are moving into those retirement years, and what are our stories that we are leaving? What are the legacies we're leaving? You see many blog posts and questioning from younger generations about, wow, look at the shit job that this baby boomer generation has left us. But it's not anything to do with a blame anyone for it. It's because, is that really the legacy we wanted to leave, is for our younger generations to think of us as leaving things in a very poor condition. It's just that as each moment, decade moves through, we live as we can to the best of our ability in that particular timeline. So there's no blame, but there's a creating an awareness so that it is understood that each particular era in history actually has its moments. Some are good, some aren't quite so good, but we do need to become more aware of leaving the best legacy we can moving into the future of what we're doing to the earth. For starters, we know there's getting some urgency around it, but it's without the, not to put the blame on it, but be responsible for the actions we're currently experiencing now, and the science that's proving what sort of pathway is potentially going to happen if we don't do something. Okay. And Caro, loved conversations with your dad. Very interesting man. Oh yes, wasn't he indeed? He had some very thought-provoking understandings of life, and especially with his belief system in their church and faith. And it wasn't just for the church. It was the way that they lived, the way they taught us as hit their kids, and hopefully the way that we, myself and my siblings are able to continue that forward as well. And hopefully my children in a similar way, although of course it's not going to be exactly the same, is it? Because the times are different. Certainly what we're living in now is quite different. So these are the questions that we've got for tonight, as far as moving through with what we're wanting to do with our writing, just to keep it going, keep it flying. Do some writing every day. You don't have to do it all in one hit. You might find something else that's going to be a bit of a guide and a trigger for you to, get some words on paper. Doesn't have to be looking at a blank sheet in front of you all the time. Now I'm going to pick these ones up. I'm just going to take them, this one, and this one, and put them on the top of this pile. I can't remember which way I did them, but anyway. So there we go. It's on the top of the pile. We've got that next lot done, and I shall restack. We're going to put them away in the box and move on to what is the next step. So I'll just grab them. You don't want to see a blank tabletop. Looks very dark and black there at the moment, but it's not. It's actually a deep purple. Whoops, bent the card. Whoopsie. Mucked that up, didn't I? Must be a blunt edge on there. Hold on. We'll get that there. And the opening screen that you saw was this one. Just as another type of a hint. Now this one, and I'll switch them around now, because this is another thing, because I do, with the psychic mediumship that I do use different tools. This is another one that I use, and it's called Labyrinth Through Time. Okay, you don't have to worry about all of that, but that's what it's called. What it is this mat that is used and a box of charms. So I was thinking, well, why not use something similar? If you've got something like this, where it's just little bits and pieces, a charm set, a bracelet that's got charms on it, get the bracelet out and just, this one, I just pick up a pinch and I throw them down, and that will be a reading. Maybe one of the things you could do is take a charm box. This would be read as in the context of where these land for a reading. But what you could do, instead of having the mat type of thing, create a sentence using little charms from anything that you've got that are little bits and pieces to create a sentence or a story. So here we've got in this layout, oh, it's not very well done. I threw them too far the other way, didn't I? Let me just move the camera. So what we've got here is, if it's something you'd like to pick up and choose as a method to actually, to do a bit of a storyline, even just a short story, here we've got a balloon. We've got what looks like a ballet dancer, I think. Actually, I'm going to have to hold that one up closer because I can't even quite see it myself. I think it is. Yep, ballet dancer. There we go. I can't. I'm just wondering if I can actually drop this by much. Let me see if I can drop the camera a bit so we can go a bit closer. Does that work? Not quite. Not quite. That gives a wrong angle. I hope you don't mind me fiddling around with all the tools as I go. I'm not backward in doing that. What I might even do is see if I can actually... wrong camera. Let me see if it's that one and zoom in on it. There we go. That might be a bit easier. Yes. There we go. Instead of fiddling with the camera. So that there, we got to the ballet dancer. Then this is a, oh goodness, I don't know what. Oh yes, I do. See how it's a cat? Can you see that? I'm going to have to try and find a bit of a darker background. Does that work? Or a lighter background? No, it's not going to focus, is it? It's a weird looking cat. No, it needs a dark background, doesn't it? Anyway, there you have it. Let's go back. Balloon, ballet dancer, cat, circus tent, or one of those Bedouin tents that come in from the desert. There we've got an angel singing. I think it's, oh look, it's too little a detail. Can't tell if it's got a chorus book in front of it. So that's the angel. Then we've got a camel, and this looks like that French, that thingy, is it in Paris or somewhere? I'm not sure if it is, but it's an archway. So it's one of those types of things, and a monkey. So it'll be really interesting to see what sort of a story you might create that has the balloon with a dancer, with the cat and the tent and the angel and the camel and the arch and the monkey. What do you think about that? Or choose 3, then 3, then 2, or 2, 2, 2, 2. Do them in pairs. Create a poem using the words that are balloon, ballet dancer, the cat, the tent, the angel, the camel, the arch, the monkey. See what might be found that actually rhymes into a rhyming poem or something like that. I think there's so many different ways that we can actually use to trigger that creative flow in our minds to get those, the writing juices going, to keep it moving. Okay, now so I'll pick those up, and I have, now I've got, hang on. I hit the wrong button. I'm supposed to do that instead. I was just going, oh, yeah, I've got it in the video, so that's all right. I can go back to that afterwards. Easy peasy. I can even put a summary of these in the comments later if it's something that you'd like me to do. It's probably a very good idea to do it anyway. Okay. And the other thing, the last thing that I want to just go through with you tonight, because when you're doing readings at an expo, there is time to actually spend a little bit on, there's gaps in between when there's a client, a customer sitting opposite to receive the reading. So I was able to go back into a little book that I have used in the past as part of my musings. So there's the little book. It's a gorgeous little handmade booklet that's with a nice little string that holds it together, and having the ribbons to decorate it, and pages that are, I think they're glued, sort of. Oh, I haven't got quite the right view. Glued in sort of like this. So I've been making notes in this as I do the expos over the years. It's a lovely little notebook. It's not just the expos that I've been using it for though. So I'm just going to find where I'd written in here as part of a retreat that I'd done. And it was just something that I used as a response over those years. I've just got to, I'm just trying to find something to block that off, because that was a more personal piece that I'd written. And I don't know if it's going to focus. So there it is, handwriting way back when, that was written in 2005. Okay. So what I've got that I wrote here is, and it took me back, I'm just trying to find where I've written it. I wrote it on white paper so that it was easier to read. So going through my notebook of rainbow ribbons, I wrote this poem in 2005, and it was actually the 21st of March 2005 to be exact. So that what I wrote is this poem. And it's likely I was going through some times that I really needed to think about life. So in all my tiredness I do feel a love for all, close and afield. I wash my soul anew each day, to finish tired and to rest from the play of life, refreshed for another day. So that was a poem that I wrote back then. It was obviously something that I'd had my thoughts about. Don't need that there. In actual fact, I probably don't need that camera on. So it got me to thinking, while I had this gap today, it doesn't take long to just put your pen to paper. Very easy. There's the writing, handwritten. It's not often that I get to do handwriting today, but these days, because I'm feeling more and more the connection with words, as I want to create more and more words in legible sentences to share with others, that I'm becoming a lot more at ease with creating poetry, for instance, because it does start to get my thoughts out. It's really producing that which is getting a voice out. Even though it's not spoken, it is written. And now I can actually read it to you. So this is the one that I did today while I was in contemplative state. I was probably having lunch or something. I know I had a little bit of time to be able to write it. So I've just labelled it a writing journey, because I do feel that what I'm moving into, it really is a journey, and who doesn't love a good trip? Anyway, a writing journey. what words to use to express myself from the pen to paper for my own understanding. Life has been a journey of wonder and pains, joys and blessings, and also the shames of others' opinions, their judgments and guidance requested or not. Be myself, unique and complete, growing and learning till old age I greet. So that's one that I wrote today. Now, there's no literary competition with anybody to say it's better or worse or, have I improved or anything. It's just those thoughts and flow at the moment when I had my pen to the paper for that particular part of time of the day that I was in. You can do exactly the same. Just put pen to paper and write. Express yourself in whatever way you want to get those thoughts flowing, to get your voice on paper. I know it sounds stupid to put a voice on paper, but we certainly have our own way and style of, speaking those words, but it's just written. See how you go with it. Practice. Just do it for your enjoyment and start to move towards answering some of those questions that get us looking a little more introspectively about what we do remember, so that it can begin to flow as a construction to, as part of the construction towards writing your own memoirs. Because I really do feel that we need to be starting right now. Don't leave it too late until it is too late. Okay? So that's what I'm sharing for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed that. Hi Lee, lovely to see you here tonight. I'm just finishing up with the session, and this is the one that I've creating as a regular weekly session for Boomer Press. It's been a journey. It's been a fun journey. It's been intense. It's been so many different things. And it's probably going to be part of what I'm going to write about for my own memoir. Who knows? It can be as varied or as in-depth or as light as I want it. Because I'm the writer, I'm going to put it in my voice and see how it ends up being, what it will be at the time it actually gets published. I have that goal. I'm hoping to achieve it before it's too late. Okay? I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining me. It's wonderful to be able to do this. I love the technology that we've got. So next week it should be the same time, 7:30. I might by then have really nutted out how to do this live streaming into Facebook. I'm using my regular program all the time. I haven't changed much of how I do all this besides it being into someone else's, like 5-foot rope TV as the, what do you call it? The destination, the repository, the sharing mechanism for this particular live stream. I am sharing it out to my Rosbounty page because I'm a co-host. I'm not able to share it directly to the Boomer Press page. It would be wonderful if anyone here watching can go over to my Boomer Press Facebook page and follow it or like it. I'm not sure which way it shows up because that's the details I don't take much notice of with Facebook. I just do and be where I need to be and do, as I'm in it. I'm also growing my Boomer Press YouTube channel, but that's another space and place that you are required to have a minimum number of, I think it's called subscribers on YouTube. I can't do the direct live streams into my Boomer Press YouTube channel until I have at least 100 followers or subscribers. So if you haven't already subscribed over there, it'd be wonderful if you could, because my goal is to grow it to at least be able to do the live streams direct into those spaces. I'm really enjoying the process of growing and building Boomer Press as a business, because I'm loving this sharing with other people, being able to write your memoirs and help you along the way with whatever step that you need. If in doubt, ask me if I can help you with that, because I've got some connections that I've learnt along the way. I can't do all of it myself, that's not possible, but I certainly have connections with some editors that I could recommend. I can proofread, that part I can help with. I know part of the process of doing some publishing. I can help with that. Michelle is the marketing and doing all of that type of plan stuff that's when you want to sell things, as far as publishing. And once we've got it published, it needs marketing to let people know that you've got it, out there. I've got the 2 books, and I am going to do a bit of self promotion here. I do them as using the pen name Abigail Betts. I explained that in one of the earlier one of the earlier live streams. I'm going to put the 2 links for the books here that are the universal book links, they're called, so you can have a look and choose where and which version of these books you want to purchase. So I've just put those in the connection that, did that work? Yeah. They are showing up on the 5 Foot Rope TV page, so certainly go along and join in with that. I think it's a public page. I'm not sure if it's a group or a page now. If you have any trouble with it, certainly let me know, and I can send you the direct link via the messaging thingy or whatever. Certainly just give me a hi. Happy to help out. So I think that actually finishes and completes tonight. So give some thought to what sort of legacy are you wanting to leave for your own memories you're passing on to others. How do you want people to remember you? That was one of the questions, or sort of, that we had for tonight's. I'm going to have to go and look at the replay and write them down for myself as to which ones we've got. I can't remember in the box whether I've put it on top or bottom. I suppose I could figure that out. And especially the charms list, because I'd actually like to create a little story from that myself and share it with you next week. That'd be a really good goal. If you want to meet that challenge and share a little bit of a story that you might have written using those charms, it'd be wonderful to have that come back, and let's see what different types of stories we can create and read of each other's creations. I reckon that'd be fun. I'll leave it with you. So you can take that challenge or not. I'm not giving it as putting it out there, you have to do this. No way. It's just fun to know, to create. I like mixing the words together, feeling what is going to be the right sound in how we express ourselves. Because it's part of voice in itself can be so much an energetic exchange as far as the more ethereal realm. And those who know me will understand that as far as knowing I have done sound therapy training and some other, hypnotherapy and other things as well. It all comes into not a mishmash, but it comes into a flow of energies that really do create that gives us impetus for what we move through and into the next steps of what we're experiencing. What we can do, what are your aims, what are your goals, what do you want to do? All that sort of question that we can, ask ourselves, really. What's your biggest desire? Things like that. Anyway, thank you for joining me. And there are the links there that you can investigate further the 2 books that I've written as Abigail Betts. There is the link there that is, book a reading for, book a free consult session so that we can start to get you on track with a more personalised plan, is what I was going to say. And certainly if there's any other questions, just send a message through. And you might find my business phone number if you're diligent enough. I'm not going to say it out loud here online because then it invites too much of junk come through, because I've had that once before. Won't do that again. We learn from our life experiences, don't we? Until next week, certainly enjoy your week and put pen to paper and write down your thoughts. Write down that story from the charms. See how it turns out. And I'll see you next Sunday at 7:30 Adelaide or Australian Central Daylight Time. Bye for now.